As we all know, February is Black History Month, but there are a lot of amazing achievements and figures, even right here in the state of Utah, that you may not even know about. Former Utah State Senator Terry Williams joining us now. He was the first African-American to serve in the state Senate. Mr. Williams, so great to have you with us. You were in the state Senate from 1983 to 1986.
That's correct.
And oh, go ahead.
81 to 86.
81 to 86, got it, okay. That would make sense for your term. So what were the primary hurdles that you faced being the first African-American in the state Senate?
There were several, actually. One of the issues had to do with, I sat with many of my colleagues who actually had never met a black person face-to-face. They were representatives from rural areas in Utah, and their only frame of reference were sitcoms like Sanford and Son or Good Times. And so they were some were actually quite surprised I could actually talk intelligently and walk at the same time.
No kidding. You were the one that brought the bill up for the Martin Luther King holiday bill.
That is correct.
How was that received, and what was the process like for that?
The process was structured to bring the bill. So in 1985, I offered a resolution to commemorate Dr. King and his work in civil rights. That passed the legislature with no real issues, but that laid the basis for laying the bill for the holiday the following year, 1986, which was my last year in the state Senate. And that was quite a fight because there were many people who did not want that bill to pass. But Utah was one of the last two states in the union to pass that bill, and it was do or die at that point.
What was it that inspired you to take that step and run for office?
Oh, for run for office in the first place, I was a political activist, and I was a community organizer, and it was my job to take people to their mayor's office, the city council, the city commission, to empower them to sign on the dotted line to run for office themselves. And year after year, people got cold feet, and I finally said to myself, well, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. So I signed on the dotted line to represent a multi-ethnic population within the Central City area.
Yeah, fantastic. I do believe that we have some photos of you during your time in the Senate as well.
Nice.
That we are going to be pulling up. One of them apparently is with the wife of former Dr. King.
That is correct. The great dame of civil rights movement, Coretta Scott King, who, by the way, was invited to Utah. She did speak on behalf of the bill, but she was invited by Brigham Young University, the Women's Students Organization, to come. So by way of that, she came and addressed the Legislative Assembly, replete with judiciary and legislative branch attendants. She received a fairly cool reception. Folks weren't willing to listen to her, but she spoke magnificently, as she had done in 50 other states, and lent itself to our bill being passed.
Talk to us about this picture here.
This particular picture here, the lady in the picture is the Justice Christine Durham, and she was the first woman to be appointed to the state Supreme Court by then Governor Scott Matheson.
And that's you taking the oath of office?
I'm taking the oath of office outside of the en masse oath that others took, because I wanted the first woman of the Supreme Court to bring in the first black person into the Senate.
Okay, real quick, we're running out of time, but I want to get your take on how things have changed since then.
They've changed quite a bit. Right now, for example, we have a much more educated public. Educated not just about Utah issues or national issues, but global issues. We see this with students, the younger populations who are rallying, protesting, or bringing out their voice about issues that they find to be anti-humanistic. And so that's changed a lot. The other issues that Utah's in a very different place also. It's grown in its numbers, it's grown in its view of what's going on in the world and how that affects Utah. And that's always good for democracy.
So great to have you with us. Thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Great to meet you.
You betcha.
Saray?